There's a strange instant right before a marriage fractures, a subtle quake beneath your feet. For me, it arrived quietly on a Tuesday evening, over reheated pasta and a glass of wine that had lost its warmth. Across from me sat my wife, Hannah, her fork spinning slowly in her fingers, the way she always did when she was about to say something significant. She didn't smile, didn't fidget, didn't show the slightest hint of anxiety. She just exhaled, looked me square in the eyes, and said, "Jake, maybe we should consider an open marriage." The utensil slipped from my fingers. I laughed nervously at first, thinking she was teasing. 8 years together. Not flawless, but solid, or so I'd believed. But Hannah kept going, calm, deliberate, measured. She spoke of wanting thrill, wanting space, needing room to grow, using every trendy self-help term I'd ever heard: liberation, self-discovery, reinvention. Then, with a casual, almost cruel lightness, she added something that cut deep. "It's not like anyone would ever look at you and think you're out of their league." Her words weren't just an invitation. They were a door opening for her, while expecting me to remain fixed in place. I agreed, not from desire, but because I refused to beg someone to stay. The following weeks, Hannah floated through our home like a teenager discovering a first crush. New outfits, new scents, nights out she never mentioned. Messages she thought I would notice. She believed she was radiant, unstoppable. She assumed I would crumble, that I would remain tethered in the shadow she'd left me in. Then, one evening, everything shifted. I was at a small gathering with friends, just a few drinks, soft music, quiet chatter. And then I saw her. Olivia Bennett. A woman from my college days whose presence had always seemed to command admiration. Smart, graceful, self-assured, the kind of person who filled a room without raising her voice. Hannah's words about me being out of her league echoed in my mind. Olivia, however, looked even more captivating than I remembered. She spotted me immediately, her face lighting up with a genuine smile. "Jake, wow, it's been forever." From that instant, conversation flowed effortlessly. We laughed, reminisced, and fell into a rhythm that felt right. She remembered details about me I had long forgotten: my weekend cooking experiments, my old guitar hobby, little quirks from college. She listened fully, attentively, without distraction, without glancing at her phone every other second like Hannah had started to do. The night ended quietly, with a simple touch of her hand on my arm. No drama, no rush, just a spark of something warm and unignorable. In the weeks that followed, our connection grew. Long messages, late-night conversations, shared jokes. There was no pretense, no games, just an undeniable sense of being seen. One evening, she confided softly, "I always wondered why you never asked me out back in college." I laughed awkwardly. "Because Hannah said I didn't have a chance." Olivia shook her head, gently, knowingly. "You should have decided that for yourself." It hit me with a clarity I hadn't expected. Then came the night that changed everything. I arrived home to find Hannah pacing, tense, eyes sharp.
"We need to talk," she said.
The edge in her voice wasn't guilt, it was possession. "Are you seeing someone?" I said nothing.
"I didn't need to."
Her eyes widened as realization struck. "Olivia," she whispered, stunned. I nodded once. She laughed nervously, incredulous.
"No."
"That's impossible. She's out of your league." And that's when everything inside me shifted. Anger, hurt, humiliation, all the months of feeling overlooked rose up. "You told me to explore," I said quietly. "You said no one would ever see me as anything more than safe. You never imagined I could be wanted by someone else. But she doesn't see me that way." Hannah sank onto the couch, trembling. "I thought you'd wait forever for me." "I did," I said softly, "until waiting meant losing myself." There was no yelling, no dramatic confrontation. Just a heavy, echoing silence where love had once lived. A month later, Hannah moved out. Olivia didn't replace what I lost. She reminded me of who I was beyond the boundaries someone else had set. One evening, sitting together on her balcony with wine between us, She leaned against my shoulder. "You know," she murmured, "you were never out of my league. You were just with the wrong person." For the first time in what felt like forever, I believed her.